6:30 public hearing. I'm gonna open a open public meeting for site plan application for 8 Mohawk Drive, map 323, parcels 6, 8, 9, and 10, warehouse addition. Okay, we're ready to go.
Do we need a motion to make Sal chair?
No.
I think so.
For the record, Sal Chaconi is the acting chair.
Okay.
Okay,
That's all.
there we go.
Perfect.
What a record.
I want to make sure you have authority.
I'm number one hit.
It says it next to your name. As work as you want.
Well,
There we go.
That's it.
all right.
Thanks for it.
Okay, you're on.
All right, my name is Jonathan Clutt. I'm with Haley Ward, representing TC Realty LLC. Some existing conditions here. We have an existing industrial building at 8 Mohawk Drive. It's at the corner of Mohawk and Nashua Street. There's 2 existing entrances to the building, one off of Mohawk and one off of Nashua Street. Some existing pavement from Mohawk Drive that wraps down and around the building to the southern part of the existing building. And, yeah.
So is that the Mohawk Line Cable Building? 8 Mohawk. What's in there now?
It's on the corner.
Yeah,
It's on the corner.
yeah, they do
Yeah, yeah.
plastics.
Yeah, it's, I know what it is. I know what it is.
There's a 6, 8, 9, and 10, that's 7.
That's a good question. I didn't see it on the map.
Yeah.
Do you know the answer to that?
7,
Yeah,
parcel
this-
7?
About 6, 8, 9, and 10, I'm just curious.
Yeah,
Is 7 in the middle of your?
I'm not sure. I don't know if it got absorbed earlier.
Okay.
Yeah, it's made up of Anthony Cleve with Haley Ward.
It's made of what?
The land itself is made up of 3 separate
Lots.
assessors parcels and lot numbers. So maybe it's just acquired over the years, not sure exactly, but they have ownership of 3 parcels.
But there's not something else that's in the middle of what you're?
No, it's all owned.
Okay. Good. Good to know.
So proposed, we're proposing a 36,707 square foot warehouse addition, shown in brown here. We're also proposing just over 30,000 square feet of new pavement outlined here. We're proposing 3 loading docks, a dumpster pad with a fence. We are proposing landscaping along the road. This will be a mixture of shade trees and bushes. We show snow storage to the south of the existing pavement, as well as to the north of the, to the south of the proposed pavement, as well as to the north of the existing. We are proposing 20 spaces to be striped on the existing pavement here to the west of the existing building.
Do you know what the required spaces are for the warehouse? Are you required?
I believe it was 10 or 12? Yeah, 10.
I think it was 10. Yeah.
It was 10. So we're proposing 20.
10.
There's a stormwater basin to the south of the proposed pavement. All of the water from the roof of the warehouse addition, as well as about half of the existing building and the entire proposed pavement will make its way to the stormwater basin. We show edge of tree line outlined here. As far as utilities, the warehouse addition will utilize the existing utilities to the building 8 Mohawk Drive, with the exception of a new 1-inch domestic water service coming in here per DPW's request. Right here is a retaining wall about 20 feet off of the proposed warehouse. And I'd be happy to answer any questions you guys have.
Okay, board members have any questions? Do you have 2 handicap spots?
Yeah.
Elizabeth, you gave us an updated report. Is there something you
Yes.
want to highlight? Since we just got it.
Yeah, in front of you, you have a, there were some revised plans that came in when, think they came in on the 10th. And on the 15th, I wrote a revised review, going through, item by item here. Some of the items were addressed, I'm not gonna go over those, I'll just tell you what's outstanding.
Okay, for parking, snow
Just go
storage,
there.
lighting.
Yeah, and landscaping, the applicant seeking approval for a landscape plan that's done by a professional engineer, not a licensed landscape architect. And, I recommended that they got a waiver from that section, but I don't have a written waiver request for that.
So, we have prepared a waiver request letter, but we weren't sure procedurally what was the appropriate way to do it. So we have that, that's the appropriate way. In the past, the way the regulation actually reads, you don't need a waiver. It says the planning board may accept the plan prepared by any other than a landscape architect if the plan meets, your requirements. So, brought the letter, if that's the right procedure. In other sections, it says you may ask for a waiver for this section. It didn't explicitly say that, so I wasn't sure if a waiver was appropriate or not, but we have the letter, whatever is the appropriate procedure, but yes, the gist of it is we're asking the planning board to accept our plans as the landscape plans in this case. But we have the letter, if that's the best way to approach that, absolutely.
Okay, the only other thing left was, architecture elevations were gonna be provided at the meeting.
Yes, so unfortunately, the architect wasn't able to provide us with elevations. We do know it's going to be a pre-engineered metal industrial building. We should have those elevations within a week.
So it's gonna be a standard metal siding, typical, not much to it.
Any other waivers that you're gonna ask for? Okay, we also had department head comments.
Sounds like they've all been addressed.
Yeah, police department approves. Building inspector approves, DPW approves. Except they had some comments. The proposed whip drain with gate valve is used to drain the retention pond if necessary. The site plan does not show an outlet for the whip drain. Has that been cleaned up?
Yes, we added one in the revised set of plans.
Proposed stormwater basin design uses an exfiltration rate of 2.41 inches per hour, which correlates to a loamy sand soil. The Department of Public Works recommends performing a deep hole test to verify that the soil consistency is a loamy sand. The soil testing, I feel like John, the soil testing does not confirm a loamy sand soil, then the stormwater basin will need to be redesigned. Have we done any
We've done
tests?
3D flow tests and they're taking a
And we're accurate on that?
So I sent it out to the DPW and they were all set with all the revisions that you made.
Great, thank you. Water sewage clearance plan as well? That's good?
That will be, when the time comes, that will be done.
Alright, so there was still.
So typically what the DPW process is, they require an 11 by 17 plan. That's what their standards are for a water and sewer clearance plan. So once we get through all the permitting, we basically shrink that down to 11 by 17, and then they get that final copy. But the plans don't change, just the format changes. So we use this process to get the DPW comments down, in which we've addressed all that. So we will submit a water sewer clearance plan to them for the sole reason of being they wanted a new water service. Otherwise, we wouldn't have needed it, but they wanted to replace the water service.
Okay, fire department. You need more information. This is as of the 6th. Now, the site would need to meet the, I don't know.
Snow removal.
Snow removal, water supply, apparatus access and turning radiuses is required by 527's CMR 1.00 to support the addition. Additionally, the new construction will require a sprinkler system and fire alarm system. Comments?
Yep, the site meets all of those.
And the fire department confirmed they were good with our guys.
Conservation Commission project has been granted an order of conditions by Leominster Conservation. Conservation Commission and agent request native plantings used in the landscaping. That's all been said, right? And that's part of the plan that you submitted as the engineer.
So as part of the order of conditions from the planning board, there's a whole set of order of conditions, and that's a standard one to use all native species.
Board of Health approves, no comments, and the assessor approves, no comments. Okay, anybody in the audience have anything to say? Would like to say anything? Any other questions from board members?
So the only provision left is the architectural elevations, I guess?
Yeah,
And the revisions for the final plans, right?
So if it's, I think we asked the board if it would be possible to, if everything else is all set, if you'd like to review the plans in the public comment period, we can do that. I'm not sure what's gonna change, it's gonna be an industrial metal building on an industrial park. Happy to submit them for record to have your files. I don't know, if we're hoping to close the meeting if possible, if the board was satisfied with everything else.
I'm just not gonna ask that question, can we close the meeting since we have to take this information?
We can make, we can't, if we have to take.
You can make a condition upon submitting the architectural.
Yeah, we can make it a condition as
But
well.
we have to, we can't accept the information if we close the.
You can't accept it because you gotta see it to accept it.
Yeah. So I know this is it's a silly obstacle, but I think legally, if we close the meeting, that means it's closed, we can't take it.
Can't submit it.
We have to
Well,
use
you
the
can,
information.
you have
Not a
conditions
public
that
forum.
require revised plans.
Well, this is an informational meeting, right? This is not a,
Public information.
it's a public informational.
it's up a public meeting.
It's an open public meeting, right?
If it's an item that's not gonna generate any review or comment, it becomes informational for the record. Like submitting a cut sheet on a detail. But, I mean, that's up to the board,
Yeah.
it's obviously, it's.
John, you got thoughts on that?
Well, it's on the elevation, okay, of the building. Okay, and I think it's a major thing. See how it, it fits. I mean, it's not particularly important, but I mean, I think it's how it fits onto that piece of property.
So I mean, that would be the only outstanding thing, right?
We would really usually wanna see the architectural drawing, so you get to see the elevation.
Yeah, I mean, we can schedule this pretty fast, I'm sure.
Will it be a great hardship to wait 2 weeks to?
Nope, like I said, that's,
It'd be April 3rd.
It's cleaner to do it that way.
yeah, it's also.
So I
No
move
issue.
that we table this until April 3rd at, what time was it? Do we have anything?
6 o'clock, 6:30.
6:30, April 3rd?
If I can just
Yeah,
ask,
and we still, yeah, we need to know if we're.
if there's anything else,
Right.
I don't think so.
just make
The
sure.
waiver for that landscape.
Yeah, we're gonna need a waiver, just to be sure.
Yeah, we have
Because
that.
there's some confusion
We have that.
between, one statement and the other in the ordinance. So let's just get a waiver, letter over to Elizabeth,
Yep.
and we need to vote on that, we don't need to vote on that waiver yet.
You need a second on that motion?
You would, yeah, so I move to continue the
We
hearing.
can
until-
accept that.
Yeah, we can accept that now.
Yep.
We just took it under acceptance, but we can't vote on the waiver yet.
Correct.
No, we
Okay,
So
Paul made the
is to
motion,
table
anybody
until
second the
April
motion?
3rd,
Jason
6:30.
did.
Jason seconding the motion. Roll call vote.
Patrick Perla.
Yes.
Paul Weiser.
Yes.
John Souza.
Yes.
Carol Vittorioso, excuse. Tom Kerrigan, excuse. Jason Parre.
Yes.
Dean Valier.
Yes.
Sal Chaconi.
Yes. Because
Thank you.
almost everything's there, it's gonna be easy for the
Yeah,
next
no,
time around.
appreciate it, thank you very much for your time, appreciate it.
Okay, motion's closed. I mean, the meeting's closed. Table.
Not closed.
Not closed. Continue.
Thank you.
That's right.
We know what you mean.
John, I'm getting like you. This age thing is not good. Okay, 6:35.
Thanks again, have a good night.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, we have a 6:35 open public meeting for major modification of site plan for 791 Research Drive, map 503, parcels 3 through 11, manufacturing, office, and retail.
For the record, Chris Anderson with Hannigan Engineering on behalf of Continental Stone for a major modification to a originally approved site plan. So this project is located along Research Drive. It's been before the board in various iterations over the various years. Most recently, this was approved for a modification back in 2020. And at this point in time, the applicant's looking to retweak the building to be very similar to what was originally approved back in 2017. So it's a recap for the members who were here during that time frame. But effectively right now, the building is currently under construction and is being completed as part of a phase 1 of construction, which includes the construction of the main portion of the building, along with various parking and access improvements, as well as the immediate need to get the utilities installed, such as water, sewer, drain, the whole 9 yards. It's the intent of the applicant to modify the second phase of the building. The overall footprint of the building has remained the same at 300 feet by 100 foot, but it's the intent of the applicant now to take the first 50 feet towards Research Drive, create that into a double-story building, with the top floor being office space, with the bottom story being retail space, showroom area for.
Can you speak up a little bit?
Yeah, Chris, he's gonna hear you.
Sorry. So the general footprint of the building has remained the same at 300 by 100. The change in the building configuration is that the first 50 feet of the building will be split into 2 stories. Second story will be office space for the proposed use, and the second story, or sorry, the first story, which is at ground level, will be utilized as retail/showroom space for the product that the client manufactures, which is countertops, stone, gravel, all that kind of stuff. To provide access to the lower levels for the retail space, we're proposing a new curb cut in the originally approved curb cut location. That'll provide approximately 10 parking spots to service that first floor area. That's pretty much the major physical layout change of the site itself. Relative to utilities, there would be a new sewer connection required for the addition. And an overall drainage redesign scheme has been reviewed with DPW, and we've got no comments back from them, but that general configuration has changed. And the only other note I would say is that the overall warehousing footprint dropped by 10,000 square feet, from 30,000 to 20,000, because of that loss in footprint. With that being said, that's the general gist of the project. So if there's any questions from the board, I'll be more than happy to answer them.
So the only increase in the impervious surface is that new parking lot in front there?
Correct.
There's no storage for that smaller parking lot?
Yep. It's now been relocated here, just so the board can give you brought the original plan here. But you can see here, the footprint of the building has remained the same. In this original, where the parking lot is now, used to be a detention basin. Because we tweaked all this and whatnot, that has now been converted into 2 underground storage systems, one in the back and one in the front, to create an in-series drainage system to help mitigate the runoff coming off.
And they reviewed all the calculations on that?
Yes.
Handicap spaces, how about, how many bays are being added on the warehouse side, are there? 1, 2,
There's 2 ADA spots in the rear portion of the site, and then there's an additional 2 in the front portion of the site going to the retail space. So it's 4 handicap spots. By code, I want to say you only need 2 or 3 for this site.
So you got 56, required is 43. Commercial vehicle storage, you got 9 spaces.
Yep, we have a few commercial vehicles storage spots located along the southerly property line. It's pretty much remained unchanged.
Now, the curb cut wasn't part of the first approval, is that?
So the curb cut was approved back in 2017. Fast forward a few years, they built the last portion of Research Drive. They put that curb cut in as part of the original design. At that point in time, the original 2017 plan was still in effect. But now it's the intent to reestablish that and create that into that additional
So
drive.
we're going from the we're going back to the 217 plan with an addition.
I don't wanna
Second floor.
Well, yeah, the first 2017 plan had a very similar configuration of the building and everything like that. So we're just kind of rewinding the clock a little bit.
So we had already had an approval on this.
But then they switched it, they
And
changed
we
it.
switched it, so we had to
We have to
reapprove
switch
the
it
other
back.
one. Do we have to say whether this is minor or do we have to?
It's a major
Major.
request.
Major
Major.
application, that's why they're here.
And only the fire department had comments.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure the access radii for emergency vehicles was good. Because Board of Health approved it, building inspector approved it, DPW's approved. Okay, fire department, sprinkler systems, will it need to be modified to cover the office space? That's a good question. Will original calculations need to be recalculated?
That's a building question later on. When they go forward with doing the design, they'll have to reevaluate that and make sure everything's still kosher.
For the parking modification, compromise the apparatus access per 527 CMR 1.
Nope, they can still pull into here, do their maneuvers, because it's a sprinkler building, they have an increased hose length, if you will, around the perimeter of the building, so that should comply. And we can review that with fire.
We can make a conditional anyway. Assessor has an approval, the Concom, conservation requests only native plantings be used in landscaping. And the police department, no traffic related issues noted, please provide and periodically update contact information for any owners and or managers who would respond in the event of an alarm or other emergency. Okay, anything else? Sean, anything on your end?
No, I'm okay.
Okay. Audience? Audience,
So the audience.
any comments from the audience? No comments? Okay, motion?
I move to close the hearing.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, roll call vote?
Patrick Perla.
Yes.
Paul Weiser.
Yes.
John Souza.
Yes,
Carol Vittorioso, excused. Tom Kerrigan, excused. Jason Parre.
Yes.
Dean Valier.
Yes.
Sal Chaconi.
Yes. Okay. All right, we're going into the regular meeting, call to order.
Patrick Perla.
Here?
Paul Weiser. John Souza.
yes,
Carol Vittorioso,
Here.
excused. Tom Kerrigan, excused. Jason Parre.
Here.
Dean Valier.
Here.
Sal Chaconi.
Here. Okay, minutes of previous meeting, there are none. 3.0, plan submitted. 3.1, site plan application for 840 North Main Street, map 153, parcel 206A, reconfigure the parking area.
Yep, this is for the Montechusett Regional Transit Authority. And they wanna, add some parking, reconfigure. They have, they're gonna have a total of 50 parking spaces. They have 48 employees. And they wanna get their employees off the street and on the, in their,
They're only going up from 48 to 50.
So,
no, they're adding like 12 spaces.
so do you need to advertise?
No,
Okay, so
It's a
then
site plan.
let's schedule that for April 3rd at 6:35.
Second.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded by Paul and Pat. Roll call vote, please.
Patrick Perla.
Yes.
Paul Weiser.
Yes.
John Souza.
yes,
Carol Vittorioso, excuse. Tom Kerrigan, excuse. Jason Parre,
Yes.
Dean Valier,
Yes.
Sal Chaconi.
Yes. Okay, 3.2, site plan application for 10 Jungle Road, map 300, parcel 13A, bank with drive-through, restaurant with drive-through, and retail.
Yep, this is a Starbucks and a bank and retail.
No. So does that mean Starbucks gave up on the other location?
That one is different, yeah.
Oh,
We
That one's
we
done
need
at
at
the
least
other
6 Starbucks
location.
in town.
Oh, boy.
One on every corner.
yeah, right? Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, we need a public, meeting for this one, right? Public meeting.
Open
6
public
Starbucks.
meeting.
Okay,
So does that mean we can do April 3rd or no?
Yeah.
We can do April
Yeah.
3rd at 6:40.
All right, April
Yep.
3rd at 6:40 it is?
Second.
okay, motion made by Paul, seconded by Pat, roll call vote, please.
Patrick Perla,
Yes.
Paul Weiser,
Yes.
John Souza,
Yes,
Carol Vittorioso, excuse. Tom Kerrigan, excuse. Jason Parre,
Yes.
Dean Valier,
Yes.
Sal Chaconi.
Yes.
Like that.
Okay, 4.0, old business, none. 5.0, new business, site plan application for 8 Mohawk Drive, map 323, parcels 6, 8, 9, and 10 warehouse addition. Has been
That's
continued.
good, yeah.
Okay, that's continued till April 3rd. Okay, 5.2, major modification of site plan application for 71 Research Drive, map 503, parcels 3 through 11, manufacturing, office, and retail. Okay, your pleasures, thoughts?
Move to recommend approval, subject to department head to comments.
Second.
Yep.
Looks like
Did
it's.
you would
Anything else
also
that
put in
we
the
needed on
provision
that,
that the planning
department head?
director shall do an
Of
inspection
course.
prior to.
Yes.
Certificate
What
of
else did we note on that?
occupancy.
We had something else we
Just
noted.
the fire department.
Fire department, but that's under the comments.
And there was a
Need
waiver
appointments.
request, there was a waiver request from landscape architect,
Oh, that's
from
right.
section 22-62.3.1, so you have to do that first.
I make a motion to accept the waiver.
And the waiver is for
Landscape architect.
landscape
Landscape.
architect being, the plan to be stamped by an engineer, a PE versus a landscape engineer. Okay,
I'll second Pat.
so motion on the table by Pat, seconded by Paul, roll call vote.
Patrick Perla,
Yes.
Paul Weiser,
Yes.
John Souza,
yes,
Carol Vittorioso, excuse. Tom Kerrigan, excuse. Jason Parre,
Yes.
Dean Valier,
Yes.
Sal Chaconi.
Yes. That's, going back is better. It's a bigger business.
So now the
Paperwork?
motion to approve, subject to
Okay.
department head conditions
Yes.
and a review by the planning director
And the waiver.
and the waiver.
Okay, so you making that motion, Paul? Paul made the motion.
Second.
Pat seconded the motion to approve, with department head comments and the waiver approval
And review by the planning director.
and review by the planning director. Roll call vote?
Patrick Perla,
Yes.
Paul Weiser,
Yes.
John Souza,
yes,
Carol Vittorioso, excuse. Tom Kerrigan, excuse. Jason Parre,
Yes.
Dean Valier,
Yes.
Sal Chaconi.
Yes. Okay, on to communications, 6.0. Do we want to add one at this point, or we want to?
Do you wanna do that one first, or do you
Yep.
wanna do?
Let's go through it. 6.1, 155 Tanzio Road, site plan directed to provide updates.
All right, in your packet, you have a letter, you had asked me to communicate with the building official to write a letter. I did that, he wrote the letter, and you'll see that it's dated March 10th, and he, basically said that the, applicant was in violation of their site plan, and that they need to come by for a site plan and special permit for a vehicle storage lot within 60 days from receipt of this order. So he's got till May 10th to come
Did-
forward and do a site plan and special permit.
Did he come to see you for any help on that too?
Not yet.
Not yet? Okay. So we needed the letter to go out first, which was step one, and everything else follows from here.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody have any questions on that? We went through that pretty good last meeting. Okay, thank you. 6.2, 1771 Lot Drive, site plan directed to provide updates.
Yep, same thing here. I communicated with the building official to write a letter. He wrote a letter. And it's dated March 10th. It's in your packet. And basically he's saying that for 1771 Lock Drive, the property owner needs to come forward with a site plan or a site plan modification, and he has 30 days to do that.
And that's from the date of his letter, so he has till.
He has till April 10.
April 10. Okay, and that was step one on that one as well.
Yeah.
Okay, was there anything else we needed to follow up on that? Elizabeth?
Oh, 1771 Lock Drive?
Yeah.
No, that was it.
Okay. All right. 6.3, Dave Street subdivision, Sawyer Way, New England Land Company, directed to provide updates.
All right, after the last meeting, you had ordered me to, notify the developer that he was in default and that the planning board was going to seize the, financial surety for $84,000 and some change, to make improvements to the property, to the street, to the road. I'm gonna wait until Carol comes to do further, discussion on this because we need her legal mind. So I'm gonna put this on a, April 3rd agenda, when Carol will be here.
There's a lot.
There's a letter in there dated,
Yep, so-
email dated March 7th, but I don't wanna really discuss it until she's here.
Okay.
Nope, makes sense. Because we're still $100,000 in the hole.
$100,000 in the hole.
Yeah, 98. So.
Okay.
All right, so we'll work with that next meeting. Okay,
And Carol will be here next meeting?
Carol will be, yes,
All right.
yeah.
I live on 66 Square Way.
Oh, sorry, you know, I mean, it isn't, we're not having it here, but yeah,
No, okay.
yeah. Yeah, she'll
If
be
you
here
wanna
next
speak,
meeting.
if you wanna speak today, you can.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, I'm just curious for updates and
Yep.
see where things we're at. It's been a battle so far. The road is
It has.
covered with potholes and it's a mess trying to get it plowed and everything. There was one snowstorm, the ice storm, we didn't get it plowed for, a week. So it was tough getting in and out of the neighborhood. We got kids that run around in the neighborhood. There's no street lights, but there's street lights that are supposed to go in.
It's stubs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it'd be nice to get some closure on that, so.
We're working on that, there's a legal process now for us to absorb the money that was in the account.
Okay.
We
We
had
did
an
that at the
estimate
last
that was
meeting.
given to us by the DPW, and what we're holding is about $98,000 short
Okay.
of what it will cost to finish the road, but we have to do this
Sure.
process,
Yep.
and the legal process has to take place for us to do that, and then we have to figure out where we go from there.
Okay.
But Carol started the legal process for us at the last meeting, so she will be here next meeting.
Excellent. Okay.
Sir, can you
We're
say your
trying to-
name and address for the record?
Yes, Sean Rivetti, 66 Sawyer Way, Leominster, Massachusetts.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks for showing up, Sean.
Yeah.
Thank you.
See you next time.
Yeah, you will.
That's good. No, there was somebody here last time, too.
Yeah.
And we know, we've been working this a long time.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We know you're working on it and
Yeah.
stuff like that. I know we tried reaching out to the developer quite a bit over email, and he's just stopped responding at this point. He kept saying, "Oh yeah, it's gonna get done in the fall. Oh yeah, it's gonna get done in the spring. Oh yeah,
That's 5 years ago.
here we go." So yeah, I mean, and I understand that money's been in the account since what, 2006.
2006.
So, costs have gone up.
Absolutely.
So, but
Excuse me. Can we get a copy of any of those emails or correspondence?
We have that.
If you have
Oh,
it.
from you, Sean, right?
If you're willing to share that.
From
Yep.
Sean?
Yep.
Yeah, if you could get
Can
that
you
to
get that to
Elizabeth,
me?
that would be great,
we can get access to that.
Do you want me to write down my,
because that'll just
I
back
have
up.
I
the legal-
I have a
access
card.
to it.
I think I
Keegan
have a
has
card.
your Elizabeth Wood.
yeah, I have a card here.
Okay.
Yeah, Sean, because that just gives us more firepower too with the legal process
Okay.
of taking the bond money.
Thank you very
And
much.
show all, the efforts of everybody in the neighborhood, because I
Okay.
know all of you have been doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I'll get a hold of everybody and
Yep.
we'll try and pull everything that we've got.
Perfect.
All right.
That'd be great.
Thank you guys.
Okay, no, there's another addition under 6.4, was gonna be the local
Yes, we need to
zoning ordinance.
reschedule, we need to make I need a motion to reschedule the subdivision regulations from the DPW and that Jason Parre had it up.
Yep.
We could do May 1st at 6:30, but we need a motion and a vote.
So moved.
May 3rd?
Second.
May 1st.
Okay, motion made by Paul, seconded by Jason, to move this Leamington zoning ordinance amendments, to May 1st. All those in favor, roll call vote?
Patrick Perla.
Yes.
Paul Weiser.
Yes.
John Souza.
Yes.
Carol Vittorioso. Excuse. Tom Kergnen. Excuse. Jason Parre.
Yes.
Dean Valier.
Yes.
Sal Chaconi.
Yes. Okay, we are 7.0, Director's Report, 7.1, Planning and Development Director's Report for March 20th, 2023.
Yes, in your packet, you have a amended, an addition to your zoning book from the certificate of the clerk.
Yep.
Because the amendment to change the lot width in RR passed. So that goes in your books.
Excellent.
And I'll be working with MRPC to get the digital version amended. But the books aren't gonna be reprinted again.
So it's 130 to 120. That's good.
And that's all I had.
All
I
right,
went to the Citizens Training Planning Collaborative, Citizens Planning Training Collaborative this weekend. It was pretty good. I think I was the only one from Leominster there. But they have it every year, and I have to say, I encourage you to think about it for next year.
okay, let's see. Executive session, none?
Motion.
Well, I can't make it up, I gotta, who's making my motion for me?
My first time ever.
That's right. No, you can't, Paul already beat you,
First time
you
ever.
can second it.
No, he's too slow.
Did you second it, John?
Yep.
Okay. All
Okay.
right, motion has been made and seconded. Motion by Claude, seconded by John. All in favor, roll call vote.
Patrick Perla,
Yes.
Paul Weiser, John Souza,
Yes.
Carol Vittorioso. Excuse. Tom Kerrigan, excuse. Jason Parre.
Yes.
Dean Valier.
Yes.
Sal Chaconi.
Yes, this is the first meeting I think I've been in.
Very efficient job, there, Mr. Chair.